Didn't realize you guys came in. Just getting my daily dose of PVTV. Let me turn this down. Sometimes it's not all about me, but sometimes it is. So welcome. Listen, here at PV, we want to ensure that everybody understands that we're doing our part to make sure that we're not spreading the coronavirus. So I think best for us to show you versus just sit here and talk about it. So why don't you come with me and we'll take a trip through the facility. Hey, it's another day at PV, huh? What are you working on? Oh, good to see you. All right, we'll take a walk through the rest of the facility here. You'll get to meet the people at graphics and what they're doing. Like I said, everything we can do to stop the spreading of the virus. Hey, Fook.
Hey, George.
Hey, what you working on?
I'm doing some bags right now.
Yeah, sounds good. Matt, what are we working on today?
I was going to spend some time there on the podcast.
James down here, he's our mastermind behind all of our social media. It's another day down here. Like we said, we will take a walk through the facility and see that everybody's doing their part here as well. Morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. We all checked in?
Everything good?
Everything's good.
Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and put my PPE on here. All right. Well, let's go. So we can work out. All right, guys.
Morning, boss.
Morning. This is our facility manager, Matt. We're going to go ahead and take a walk through here if that's all right with you. I think we're covered. Well, here we are, gummies. Everybody good? This is our masterminds behind the gummy side of it. So we have Adam and Leslie, and they actually run the chocolates and gummies.
The next stop here will be our oil room.
We got our guys doing the filling here. Hey guys, what are we working on right now?
God's gift.
God's gift. There you go.
Right there. Along with the gummies, though, what we do, you're my favorite, the chocolate room.
I know, I love the chocolate.
My favorite place to stop.
The downside about today is that when it's raining, the humidity and whatnot, I know we're not manufacturing.
No, we're not.
I know we got a full stock.
Full stock.
Well, I thought we weren't manufacturing.
Yeah.
What are you guys doing here? What are you guys doing? Oh, you know what this is? I forgot. Today's product testing day.
Product testing day.
Yes. So that's what's happening here. So now I think we're off to packaging. Guys, everything good? Really good. Nice. There we go. This is what we do on an everyday basis, taking extra precaution by making sure that you're using hand sanitizer and anything else that needs to. Welcome to Jurassic Park.
Hot on.
Yeah. See, these guys are up to today.
Let me see that belly roll.
You guys all good?
Tubby. One side.
All right, well, hey, keep at it, guys. Well, as you can see, just another day with those guys at HVGC. Let's see how Brian's doing. Another one of our designers. What the hell are you guys doing?
It's
Another day. What is cannabis doing for you?
Put some dog tags together, man.
The team here at PV Unfiltered have been carefully monitoring the COVID-19 pandemic and all communications from the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, federal, state, and local government agencies, plus local health officials to keep abreast of this ever-changing situation. The safety and well-being of all our listeners and fans is always our first priority. Due to recent changes in the COVID-19 pandemic, we will be postponing any further podcasts till further notice. We want to thank you for listening and hope everyone stays safe. Oh, wait a minute. Stop the presses. I think we have something here.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Here we are. Welcome back to PV Unfiltered. This, my friends, is going to be probably one of our best ones in a lot of different ways, but in all seriousness, we've had some fun over the last couple of days. That is actually what we do look like here at PV.
All day, every day.
All day, every day.
It's what you're guaranteed to see walking through the front door every single day.
Animals.
Just absolutely. The characters down there. You know?
So we have our facilities manager, Matt Curran, and I think we just call her probably the owner of PV, Janet Matula. Sometimes it's better that way.
No.
So yeah, we've had some fun. I'm sure some people will probably be a little upset about, making light of situations, but this is the important part for us and for everybody in our community, is to understand that we are taking this very serious.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
So those of you that are offended,
Sorry.
Sorry.
I don't
Sorry,
know if we
not
call
sorry?
it sorry. Yeah, sorry, not sorry.
No, I think it's
just
I think
a little
it's good
fun.
It's good to have fun, right? Humor's a break in stress, and in a time where we are right now, the anxiety, the stress, I think it's okay to laugh, right?
Well, it should be.
Yeah.
It definitely should be, and I think we'll get into a lot of things here. We're not going to take up too much more time because we don't want to ruin the front part of this podcast.
The vibe. We don't.
But once again, I mean, being all seriousness, I think we need to talk about at PV really what we're doing to take our part in not spreading the virus and the seriousness and how we are helping across the board with it. So
absolutely, yeah, and that's a great point, George, because I think in driving every single day, and Jen and I have lots of conversations about this. Where we are in the world, there's always a new update coming out. When we first heard about the corona, and I'd like to start by saying, prior to the corona scare, outbreak, epidemic, pandemic that's now causing the pandemonium, we were doing the things that are being pushed to do anyway, right? And so when you look at this list coming from the CDC, I take this look at this list, and I go, hey, that's life at PV, right? I mean, we're about good manufacturing practices.
Well, I think one thing to point out is, ironically, we just had our, I don't know what number visit it is from CDPH.
I think it's 4.
Number 4, a week and a half ago. And when we say surprise, they actually show up at the door unannounced,
right,
and with their team to do a full scale inspection.
It's a white glove, full blown derobe inspection.
Right.
Yeah.
Derobe.
Of which it wasn't
is this involved in the derobing?
There may have been some gloves.
Okay.
Yeah, there's.
Well, I'm glad that I typically don't have to take part in that.
Yeah.
But the most
notes.
important thing was it wasn't just
Come up on the mic,
inspection. Oh, okay. It wasn't just an inspection. It was also, thank you. It was also looking at all the footage. How, they went back 90 days to look at absolutely everything we did, and we came out stellar. It was a nice compliment.
Yeah, I can remember when I came on board, a few weeks ago, almost a month and a half ago now. That was one of the talks we had, and one of the talks I had with the team downstairs on the manufacturing floor. It's like, hey, listen, when an inspection comes at our front door and it's a surprise inspection, we want to open the door and smile with confidence and welcome them in. And
you don't want that look like.
No, yeah, right.
and then the shit,
panic.
they're here. They're here.
You don't want that look.
And then they see people running from the building like it's on fire.
That look where mom opens the door and you give her the. Yeah, no. We don't.
I don't know what you're referring to, but once again, for some reason I think it involves those. We're keeping it clean.
Keeping it clean. We are. This is PG, right? We're very, very clean.
Mixed company.
Pass some of that hand sanitizer down here. Oh man, no.
So I mean, let's talk a little bit about the inspection. Let's not go too far into that.
Sure.
But what that involves. So just give kind of a summary of what a CDPH inspection is, and the fact that we had one a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Right.
And I have to say, we killed it. As usual.
As usual, right? Yeah. So CDPH shows up. They literally do come as a surprise. There's no forewarning. We were walking down the stairs, I think, and they happen to be in the security lobby already. They check in. They tell you what they want to see. You open the doors, and it's game on. Buckle up. And I think
how long is the visit?
Oh, was it
4
4 hours?
4
Yeah,
hours.
it was 4 hours of intense. It's an intense visit. It's an experience like no other. Yeah.
This is a site visit. This isn't the one where they go through all of our SOPs.
No, they did.
They did.
Oh, they did.
Went through every department's SOPs. And they spent a tremendous amount of time in metric.
They did.
Of which, when they left, said, "You guys can teach us."
Right. Yeah.
Did you hear that, Tommy?
They did.
You got to have something here.
Yeah.
He didn't hit record. Did you?
Okay. There.
There we go.
That's right. What did they say? What?
They said,
You can teach us?
Just get all of them in there.
No, it was pretty refreshing when you're standing with two inspectors and they're asking you to dive deeper and deeper and deeper into your processes, because the standards that we impose on ourselves internally are higher than, what's being asked for. So
Right.
it's a great feeling. It's a great feeling. It really is.
Well, I mean, so going through the inspection, 4 hour, and it's grueling.
Yeah,
I understand
it is
it's grueling, and
It is.
it's not something that I actually take part in, physically, but we understand what it takes to get to that point where we do fly through something like that and being extremely comfortable. That falls on the backs mainly of you guys. And once again, we don't know. Janet's kind of like a chupacabra of Platinum
what
Vape.
that is.
So
What is that?
You're welcome.
well, it's kind of like we just don't know if anybody like her really exists, and we don't know really what it is that she does.
They don't.
But a lot of shit gets done. That's all I can say. So, I mean, listen, 1 minute she could be walking in the door with coffee in her hands from Costco or her giant pump of Germex, which she does carry around with her right now.
That's a real
And the
thing.
next minute she's, her nose is in the books and
yeah.
there's a lot of great things that do come from that for sure in having that relationship and not understanding because we can't label her. so therefore we don't we don't there's no limitations. There's no limitations.
And there's no title. So, hey.
There's no titles. Oh, there's the chupacabra. Now you got to fan to Janet because I don't think she doesn't look like
Oh, it's been on her the whole time.
And it's got gray hair.
shit. Damn.
I wouldn't have picked that one, Tommy.
No.
Not flattering.
I
Sorry, I had to go quick. I had to go quick.
She may have made people disappear at some point in her life. I wouldn't push that one.
hide your babies. No, I mean, all kidding aside, there's been a lot of great things, and so we're through the inspection, which is great that we did have that, because coming at a time that we are now, to have an inspection like that without having corrections and really going through in depth that they did is it's a great feeling,
Right.
especially because of what's happening right now. And so once again, I mean, as we are, we're doing everything that we can to maintain the integrity of what we do and keep production at an all-time high, but then maintain the standards. Not only that I think this is what makes it easy for us is that our standards are already so high.
Right. Right.
And I know, people talk about this and they say these things, but when you're really behind the scenes and you see your company or our company being ran the way that it is, it's amazing for me because I don't see this, I'm not directly involved in every single part of this operation. Right. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? Well, I'm the dipshit that sits in front of this and, does my thing, It's like being the conductor. Really, when you see an orchestra, no offense to any conductors out there, but what the fuck does that guy do? Because I don't know
listen,
if
George,
I wave a stick around here.
You're the DJ. We're just dancing to your tune,
No,
man.
I don't think so. Because I really don't know what that guy does up there, and I'm not an orchestra guy, but I know that those fuckers out there blowing the horns and beating the drums. Right. Whatever he's doing with that stick, it's definitely not making the music. You know what I mean? I don't know. So I mean, anybody can educate me on that part of it. But I have to say that it's impressive to see and hear that type of stuff. And when you go through the facility, to understand that this is just so much bigger than myself and Cody and everybody in this room. And it really is. It is a team and it's a family.
It really is. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I talk to guys all the time and they wouldn't believe me unless they hear the excitement or enthusiasm in my voice when I tell them about the experience I have here. Right. And it really is an experience. It's not work when it's fun. Right. But it's not a game, and I think that probably makes sense. Right. I drive to work every single day thinking about work. I love being here. The day flies by and I think about work driving home every day, not because I'm stressed out, because it's truly an experience that I enjoy. And I think you feel that throughout all the teams here at the family, and it's really what it is.
It's funny. There is a secret sauce. There is a secret sauce.
Wait a second. Is this where we gotta get gloves out again?
And it's not in that bottle.
Is this? Should we be saying the secret sauce? As of right now, it is still a secret. As of right now,
remember those holes in the desert?
But I think Janet's about to reveal the secret. So let's
there is a secret sauce.
Oh, man.
And I think the secret sauce is being able to implement, turn around, and be successful on a dime. I have seen this company turn products around in 6 weeks. We're going to launch it. We're going to manufacture it. We're going to put it on the shelf 6 weeks. It's amazing to me. Amazing.
Is that really the secret?
It is.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it is. It's a secret sauce.
Not to buff your secret, but there's got to be more depth than just the generalizing and saying this is what we do.
I think the secret is the empowerment. I think the secret is the empowerment from Cody and George to be able to really do what it is we need to do with the faith and confidence that we're going to do it ethically and morally. We're going to do it right, and we're going to do it with the highest quality that you're going to find anywhere. I think that's a lot of what it is.
But there's a creativity that comes with it every single day, out of the box, out of the box, out of the box. Most companies, it drove me nuts, I have to tell you, in the beginning.
Trust me. Well, first of all,
is that the beginning of the day today?
I know this isn't about this. We are going to have a separate podcast, with everybody. But
it is the secret sauce of being able to just, kind of riff every single day. Thank you.
You're right.
Tommy's over here. Look at.
Okay, Tommy's over here.
I'm going to do this because I do it in every single podcast. All right.
Here it comes.
So this, if you go back, you'll see this in every single one. All right. Listen. No matter what happens here, Tommy has his own podcast going on over there. If you were to see him, like he literally has. He's got. Sometimes I actually feel like in baseball you have signals,
right.
So I always feel like I'm at third and he's trying to get me to steal home because he's over here. He's highlighting phones, jewelry, movement, and then the other one's mic awareness. So I'm sliding. He's pan over. You got to show this because he's literally right now. He's got Mike and he keeps scribbling underneath Mike to show. That he has, and he keeps looking at me.
Oh my god!
He keeps looking at me, and I gotta keep sliding. So Mike, where now he's got his cameras all fucked up. Yeah. He's got all kinds of shit going. It's a mess over here.
Gosh. So another day at PV, just on the.
Sometimes I really don't.
We're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
We're awesome.
But he's very critical. I guarantee you that door is locked right now, because he's very critical of making sure that door is locked. Oh, man. And I always say no locked doors. But in all seriousness, no, I mean I think there is a secret sauce. I don't think that you actually gave out what it is. I think you're giving a little bit of the recipe. I don't think that it's just being able to do things on an immediate, or what'd you say, turn on a dime?
Yeah.
I think that's one part of it. But I think if you really look at it, we don't really know what the secret sauce is. You know what I mean? I think it's more of the fact that we have built our own little community here.
Family.
Kind of like a little Gilligan's Island, if anybody remembers that back in the day. everybody has their own thing, and everybody's individual. And going downstairs, nobody's alike. There's no robots.
No.
Everybody has their own personalities, their own attitudes. Trust me. There you go. Everybody has their own attitudes, and I think the big thing for us is allowing people to just do that.
Yeah, just be
and
themselves.
incorporate instead of incorporating your life into PV, it's incorporating PV into your life.
Yeah,
and I think the big thing is, and I'm going to toot our horn just a little bit here because it is something that's important. Has been. We consistently say this is being open doors, and I mean the no lock doors, because I've had to pull doors off hinges in the offices to get people to understand that unless you're in an important meeting, those doors are open.
Right.
And that's myself and Cody's as well. And I think allowing people throughout the whole facility to understand that anytime that they want to come up, they want to talk, they want to do whatever, that it's open. And it's not just, Janet and you guys,
Right.
it's everybody and the owners of the company.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think I think allowing people to just be comfortable, I think that's a big part of what's making this happen for everybody. Yeah. Because a lot of times when you get into companies, they drive you to a position, and this is how you maintain, and this is what you need to do. We don't have there's no policies on a lot of things here, but just really being true and honest, I think is the moral standards for everybody in this company, and then just really being free to express.
Yeah,
and whether you're Democrat or Republican, and Janet, we're not going to get into this. That's just not going to happen. So we'll leave it at that. But I mean, listen, it doesn't matter. And you guys know, I mean, we have every walk of life working here.
Yep,
in the facility. Doesn't matter. Name it. We have them. We're all part of it. And that's why we call this the Island of the Misfits.
Right.
Because that's who we are. But we're not, this podcast isn't about us as a company. Let's go back to what it really is about. And it's about ensuring people where we're at as a company and staying true to
to who we are, right? To staying true to who we are as PV. I think it's a great loop back in, because what you have, part of the secret sauce is the passion that's down there, right? Graphics team, the front office, right? The guys down. It's the passion that you have to do the right thing every single day, to do it at the best that you can do it, right? And that's what we've done. It's commitment, right? I think we'll use that word a lot today, right? It's commitment.
So on Janet's part, I mean, like, I like to hear, because we're always in the shit, you know what I mean? And it's nice to hear sometimes, like, your thoughts on where we're at as maintaining the integrity of the company, but also get into, the SOPs and just how far driven we are into keeping the highest standards.
Every person down there gets continual emails from me about what's going on. The latest just being San Francisco Health Department saying that dispensaries are staying open.
How great is that?
Dispensaries are staying, just like pharmacies, they are staying open when other businesses are shuttered, so that people can go in and get their medicine as needed. I mean, I think that's fabulous. It hit the wire. It went out to absolutely everyone. So as the Compassionate Care Act SB 34 came down.
I'm gonna read this. Sorry, because so this was really cool. Janet, once again, always brings these things in. I get shit on the weekends. I mean, I have no idea where this shit comes from, and I try not to even think about what she's doing because I search shit, and somehow she finds this stuff. So this came in. The Department of Public Health today clarified that since marijuana has medical uses, dispensaries will be allowed to operate as essential businesses, just as pharmacies are allowed to do.
Yeah.
That's major.
That's awesome.
It's a major precedent.
Right. That is a huge step forward, right?
It is a huge step forward.
You don't want to read that text. That's wrong one.
That's the wrong one.
Yeah, I'm gonna need one.
We didn't
I'm gonna
beat
need one of
that
these. One of these.
Another pump, Janet, please.
But what that does is it puts marijuana on the same level
Absolutely.
as any other medicine, of which we've been trying for many years. So I just kind of got puffed up when I read that. I was like, all right. It's a good thing. So, yeah, that's what I do. I make sure everybody from the ground up knows what's going on all the time. SB 34, the Compassionate Care Act that just went through the state of California. I mean, my God, we can finally give away cannabis to patients.
To patients. Right.
We can finally do that with no taxation.
And we love doing
nothing.
that.
We do.
Isn't that
And
crazy?
we're doing it.
Like
And we're doing it.
We love to give shit away.
Yeah.
It's been tough. We've had to do some weird things, dealing with stores to get product out into the hands. Not that weird.
Okay, all right.
Okay, yeah, these gloves are going. No, but I think the big thing too on Janet's part is the fact that she really does go above and beyond to make sure that I'll honestly say this, that we probably wouldn't be here, and I'm not saying it because she's sitting here, because I say it all the time. But honestly, we probably would not be here if it weren't for her, because we're not really good at keeping up on those things.
I know.
I mean, we're just not. And so, that's why I keep saying about having this team, because, we did a podcast with our guys here. And it's when when people have your back,
right?
And that's the bigger part of that, is that there's so many things that Janet is doing on keeping up with everything that's going on.
She's a smorgasbord.
And that's why I say
smorgasbord of things over here.
Yeah, wait a minute. Wait. All right.
Janet doesn't hesitate.
Wait a second. George. There is a story.
I would call her the macaroni grill menu.
Yeah, there is a story.
No, it's Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, there you go.
There's no venue bigger than Cheesecake
Factory menu of things.
There is a story of late, and this is what makes this company.
Are you quitting?
No. There is a story of late where you walked through a parking lot and saw bald tires on an employee's car.
Oh, yeah, we won't bring that up.
Oh, yeah, we will.
No, we'll bring that up in a later one.
Yeah, that's the kind of shit that happens where he put 4 new tires on the kid's car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, there's an insight on that.
We could go and bring him in here.
I want to make sure they come to work. You know what I mean? No,
come on.
I mean, seriously, like that, on the level that we're talking about, that's what's important, is that everybody's playing their part. And don't get me wrong, I mean, we all make mistakes, right?
Yep, we do.
And but the bigger part of that is the fact that we all, whoever it is and whatever mistake is made, we're all behind that person.
Right, 100%.
And that's tough. I'll tell you. And once again, I think we're getting off track. This podcast.
This is
good.
No, but this podcast that we're doing is supposed to be about the coronavirus.
It is.
I think the problem that we have is that we just keep getting off track.
I think
but we are going to have a podcast.
Save this footage for the
later
next one.
day.
We are going to have a podcast about the company, and because we do have a lot of people that are asking, and this is part of this big talk of having everybody come in and go through this stuff. But reality is this.
Well,
let's get back on track for this.
The reality is this, right? Right.
You and I
Here we
worked
are.
when? 2 weeks ago?
We did.
2 weeks ago on SOPs, sending out employee letters, directives.
So let's talk about that, as far as how we're getting information to the company, to the people in the company. You know, I mean, we're also understand that we are now in 3 states, Michigan and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So how are we getting information to the employees for everybody to understand as a company what we're doing and what we need to do?
Yeah, there's a couple of ways, George, and I think to take this a step back before we did those SOPs, when you look at what was put out by the CDC, when you look at, largely what's put out in recommendations, when I took a look at those and read them, I said, man, not only are we doing these, we're doing a lot more than this. And that's just daily life here, right?
Right.
And I think to myself, if you're in an industry where you're providing a service to a consumer, whether it be, whether it be consumed, eaten, drinking, or inhaled, and you read these things and you go, man, that's a really good idea. You need to reevaluate life. And you need to reevaluate, what you're doing in the industry, because these are things we should be doing all the day, any day, anyway, and we do. So when we sat down and we decided, hey, where do we need to be right now? What are we doing to ensure that we provide the safest workplace for our team, and to ensure that we maintain the highest quality and we keep our doors open throughout this? Because 2 weeks ago we didn't know where we were going.
So you know what we did? I went online and I bought a bunch of blow up costumes and space helmets, and I said, we're taking this to the next level, guys. Safety. Above and beyond.
Yeah, above and beyond. And so we said, all right, that's it. We're going to write an SOP.
Yeah.
And we're going to go down and we're going to tell every single person face to face what it is we're doing here. And that's exactly what we did. And it's what we do every single time. If something doesn't matter, from the top, bottom, or the bottom to the top, when something happens, we put it in the writing, we make sure it's posted, we send it an email, and then we do face-to-face, right? And we talk, and we ensure that we are listening to those who we're talking to and finding out what the concerns are, and then they understand that, we're taking it seriously.
We are taking it seriously.
Right.
Absolutely. And from the Xerox machine being wiped down a couple times a day, the lunch tables, all the things that you don't even think about when you're pressing buttons on that copy machine.
Yeah.
There it is.
Everything.
It's everything.
It's everything.
And it got sent out to Michigan. I followed up with those people to make sure that they understand all of the letters to the employees went out with the pay checks, and it's done. It's absolutely done. And people didn't understand between all of our face-to-face and our writing and our SOPs and our posting things everyhere.
Yeah, well, they understand after this morning's, and
it was
downstairs.
Yeah.
They get it.
And it was
They get
done.
it now.
It was done in English and Spanish, because we are here in San Diego, and we have a great workforce.
Yeah,
that's bilingual.
I'd like to say that I took part in that, but I have no idea what happened.
Matt was running around yesterday, scotch taping information.
It's just communication, right? We like you said earlier, we know what's coming in, and we know what's being said, what's being published out, through mainstream media, and we know how to translate that to ensure, again, that we're committed to our team here to ensure it's the safest workplace that they can come to ever. We're committed to the dispensaries, so they understand that we are going to maintain the highest quality of production, and it's going to be predictable and repeatable and sustainable. And we're committed to our consumers, right? That every single day we're going to come in and we're going to produce or manufacture the highest quality of whatever it is they want, whether it be an edible, a gummy, a chocolate, our multiple lines of vape that they can go out and purchase.
And how to meet demand, because demand has increased.
Absolutely.
And I can... It's not hoarding or anything like that, but demand has increased. People need to come home, relax, be able to get some sleep, relieve some stress.
And that's a great point, because, right now, all kidding aside, people, there's a panic that's going on. There really is, and you can feel it and you can see it. And I'm a different person with that. It's not that I don't care, because I truly do care, but I always like to have the brighter. There's enough darkness, that I always feel like I'm going to let everybody else have that.
Yeah,
I want to brighten things up. I want to always kind of see the funner side of that. Whatever versus. There's enough. Once again, there's enough negativity. There's enough darkness, and that's just how I am. And so going through this process, I've been able to, even with my kids, to understand that everybody has a different feeling on what's going on, whether it's traveling, whether it's being in a room with X amount of people. And I respect that. Don't get me wrong. I totally respect that. And as you know, for our employees, the same thing. If they're not comfortable, we want to know about that, and we want to make sure that they are. And especially in this time, because I mean, you know, I'm 38 years old, and you know, I was 39 yesterday. But I've never seen or experienced anything like this on a level that we are. So this is all new, and this leads us back to our podcast of, you know, cannabis, is that this is all new for all of us. And so a lot of us are trying to figure these things out with the emotions and the feelings that everybody has. And the bigger part of this is really to understand the people around you and how they feel, and be able to be compassionate about it. And adjust, as one of the things you were talking about, Janet, to be able to adjust to this. And I can walk in a room and be with you, and we're shooting the shit, and it's just like, you know, there's nothing, you know, dark. But then I can walk into another room where somebody's like, man, I'm really worried about this, and you know, and you have to be able to turn that, you know, that corner, and not just in a joking way. And we've had our moments for sure, but I think I always want Platinum Vape to be the brighter side of everybody's life.
Sure.
You know, and we do want to have the seriousness, and that's what this is really about, is to understand that we're not careless.
Absolutely.
And that we are compassionate, but we're also light, funny, you know.
We are.
And we want to have that.
And I think, we were able to do the shoot this morning and have fun because of all those things you just said, right? I mean, we sat down and made sure before that shoot went down that we walked through with, you know, the leads downstairs, and it was done like it should have been, right? We were able to have fun with it, and everyone understood where it was coming from, right? And it's not, like you said, it's not because of complacency at all. It's actually the opposite. It's because we have OCD downstairs and what we do. We were able to have that kind of fun, right? And it's a great environment when you can laugh and joke amidst the times that we're in right now.
And the employees love it.
They do.
They love it.
They do.
I mean, it lightens their day. It
it's
makes
morale.
They really did have a blast.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking to them afterwards, and people were, I mean, you know, they were thanking us, like, you know, because it really gets them to understand even more so, and trust. And that's the biggest thing, I think, is trust. Is that they're trusting us, you know. And I always use the analogy of you know, flying an airplane, and I know that's like a big thing right now.
Probably one of the cleanest places you're going to find right now.
Exactly, and I'm not afraid of flying. I'm going to be doing a lot of it, actually, because the prices of tickets right now are extremely cheap.
Amazing.
And so, and like you said, I think the planes are cleaner than they've ever been, and there's like nobody on them. But no, I think the analogy of you know, when you look at flying an airplane, and you know, myself and Cody as the pilots, and I know that's just kind of a weird thought, you know, even though I really am a pilot. But you know, you have, you know, a chain of command if you look at that, and I think that's a good analogy, is the fact that you have the pilots and the co-pilots, and you have the engineers, and the engineers, and you know what I mean. And as you go down through this chain, then you have the people on the plane, and that's like that's always the biggest concern, is getting everybody from point A to point B
safely,
where the rubber is touching the runway, and on both ends. You know, and so when you're doing that, the people in the back of the plane are entrusting us that we're going to get them to that place.
Yeah, you're absolutely
couple drinks involved, you know, some meals,
some laughs,
whatever. But then also behind that is the flight attendants and the engineers, and you know, and it goes forward, and everybody ultimately has to trust the pilots. So hang on, guys, because guess what?
The seatbelt sign saying on the whole trip.
No, it's off. The seatbelt sign is off. As a matter of fact, there's no seatbelt in my plane. You ever seen those planes where they go up and they do the free fall? You know, and everybody's floating around? That's the one I'm flying.
Perfect. Sign me up.
You know? Oh, yeah. No, and all kidding aside, I mean, that's a lot of pressure, and, you know, and we'll have those conversations when we do the next podcast with everybody at PV. It is a lot of pressure, and when you're being looked at and scrutinized in this industry, to have that under control
Right.
is effortless for us.
Yeah.
We don't carelessly make decisions, but I think the biggest thing for this is that when we do make a decision, regardless, everybody's behind us.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, in doing this, there's been a little bit of resistance. We're not gonna talk about where it came from. We're not gonna look at the person that it came from. But no, in all seriousness, I think we will have the people that don't think this is the greatest, you know, podcast, and I can accept that. But I think in the end, this is really informational on our part, and I think some of the stuff in the industry on what's happening right now. I mean, this is worldwide. This isn't just San Diego. It's just not just California. I mean, it's not just the United States. This is literally worldwide. So we are experiencing something that is extremely difficult, and unfortunately, you know, a lot of people are going to die from this. It's going to happen, and that part is tough for anybody to take in. It's going to be a real tough, probably 4 to 6 months, I think,
absolutely,
for everybody.
And I think we could all agree that, you know, part of this is the unknown, right? The unknown scares you sometimes more than the known, and we could probably pick a couple different scenarios where that happens. And right now, like you said, George, this is new to all of us, right? And so it's the unknown. What's going to happen tomorrow, right? It's just the little things. What's going to happen in my community tomorrow? What's going to happen to my favorite restaurant tomorrow? What's going to happen at work tomorrow? And then it just grows and grows and grows from there, right? And so, you know, with that stress and anxiety, I mean, you know, we could talk about some of the cognitive symptoms that come with that, right? And just the apprehension, being uptight, being short, losing the patience, losing the sleep, you know, constantly wondering, hey, am I going to have what I need tomorrow to keep myself or my family safe, to keep food in their mouths, So in this trying time, when you have all those things pushing upon you, am I going to have a paycheck at the end of the week? Right? Am I going to be able to apply for unemployment? Is there going to be unemployment? How's the government going to take care of me? Right? And
how am I going to pay my rent?
With all those things going on all day long, you know, just go back to what Janice said is that we are continuing to do what we said we will do from day one, right? That's our commitment. And we are going to continue to manufacture. We're going to continue to distribute. We're going to continue to keep our dispensaries stocked so that there is something for everyone, right? It's a way to truly find some ease in the day, right? Find a way to take a breath, right? To relax, to sort of reset, if you will, to get some sleep. I mean, sometimes just getting a couple hours of sleep is all you need, to take on anything the next day, right? And so, yeah, we're here to make that happen for everybody. There's a little of something for everybody out there.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, we have the variety that everybody's talking about here as far as working at PV. I mean, we have new babies and, you know, we have everybody you can think of. So the concerns are definitely there. And I think, once again, just the fact that we can turn a corner, you know, and understand what that person is dealing with, you have to be able to do that. And we're not just setting these straight lines and saying this is where we're at and this is where we're going to.
Right?
Yeah, I think more so allowing people, if they need to take a day off, you know, if they're feeling anxious, you know, there's a lot of things that are going on,
right?
And you know, we have to be able to, you know, deal with everything as it comes along.
Absolutely, people are our most important resource, and I think everybody down there feels that way. Every single person in the family feels that. The
one thing that I really loved is, I believe it was Friday, it could have been Monday, where you and Rob and I sat down and talked about how are we going to keep production ramped up to meet the need.
Right.
Not just keep production going, but how are we going to figure out how to do this with the extra oomph that we need to make sure that we've got product everywhere.
Oh yeah, and, shit! You guys had us working 24 hours.
I know.
like we were
second shift, third shift.
I walked in on that and I saw a whiteboard and I saw 28 hours. You guys know that there's only 24 hours in a day. So I don't know.
You saw the football plays for the next 3 seasons. X swings around, O goes down, Y goes long.
I was asking Matt, I'm like, who's X and who's O? Because, you know, it was like, I mean, the schedule, I was like, okay, guys, we got to really, this one we got to talk about. we can let certain things go, but I mean, like they literally were ready to manufacture. The look on Rob's face was like, Rob's face is always like, I mean, I'll do whatever. But, and that was like, he's like, I'll do whatever.
He had his shoes off. He was counting his toes.
He was going like this. I'll switch.
Out of concern for Rob, I said maybe I should stay in this meeting for a little bit longer because this guy's going to go to the house.
And then Preston walked in and went, "We need more indica. We need more indica."
More.
He looks at the board and goes, 28 hours isn't enough.
He's going more. And Matt's like, oh, shit.
Carry the one, add a 0.
Oh, shit, he said sativa.
Oh, yes.
So I did hang out in that meeting for a little bit. So we brought it all back down to reality. This is where I landed the plane. Because these guys had the plane in a nosedive. All I did was go back to take a piss. And these guys literally nose down. Imagine now the view, the images, that plane where everybody's floating around, they're all in the back tail.
With the whiteboard. With the whiteboard.
Going straight down. And our new pilot.
one hand. I got this. Watch this shit.
But we did.
Okay, guys, that's going to be hard to pull out everybody's audio.
It's okay. We're good.
Right.
Let it ride.
That was good.
Oh my god,
that's good shit. Okay, so anyways, we had a moment there.
We came back to reality.
Here we are.
Welcome to PV. As I said, Unfiltered.
Today's episode.
All right, we'll do this again. All right, everybody. Hey, welcome back to PV Unfiltered. Tommy's so pissed right now.
Hours.
Okay.
Oh man.
All right. In all seriousness.
Yeah.
Do we have enough?
But we have a plan.
We have a plan. We have enough.
We have
Yes.
many plans.
Yes.
So
We do.
we did work through that. We leveled off. We got we got her back into a nice cruise.
We got 24 hours of recording we can do.
No, I mean, I don't even know how we're going to end this. Seriously, I can just keep going.
Well,
Eunice, can we get lunch in here?
I think we just hit on it again, right? That tomorrow we're gonna do the exact same thing we did today without all the costumes.
Yes.
And that's just come in and make
Fuck,
sure
we're not
that
going to do the costumes again?
depends on what room you walk in.
Okay.
Oh man.
All kidding aside.
But yeah, all kidding aside, yeah, we're gonna come in tomorrow. We're gonna do the same thing we did today with smiles on our faces, right, and the same sense of calm.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't. I'm sorry, but I'm really. I observe a lot of things. Did you wear your kid's jacket today? The sleeves on that thing are like 6 inches.
Listen, the jacket fits. I'm just dying right now.
Then take it off, dude. I can't look at it. This guy's. I'm
dying.
sweating. Can we have him turn the AC back up?
Tommy,
You can take it off.
No, I'm zipping it up.
Why?
Why not?
Because you said you're sweating.
We'll go full.
Are you not hot?
I'm good. I'm calm. Always cool, calm.
Okay. Oh man, I was just sorry. I was
God.
just kidding. Are you hot?
No, I'm good.
Okay, you're making me
I've
sweat.
got my water.
Okay. Anyways, I think I've said it probably 30 times in this podcast. With all kidding aside, and all joking aside, we really are doing everything that we can to prevent, any further spreading of the coronavirus. Being a company that employs 160, 180 employees, we are doing our best to make sure that we put that in the forefront,
Right.
especially right now. Right. And I think just to kind of bring it all back in, the benefit for us is that having people like yourselves on the team, we're already doing this.
Already, yeah,
so
absolutely.
A few things extra, but no big change in our operations or our SOPs. And how great was it that SOPs got written immediately?
Immediately.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I still don't know what it takes to write an SOP.
Oh,
We've had a lot of
gosh.
battles, and I just know that it is a big thing.
Yeah, it is.
But I understand them, and I can read them, but the pathway to an SOP is it's a lot of work, lot of work and tedious work. So as much as you think that an SOP is just something that's just there, it has to be there and has to be used and followed. Right. And something as simple as application of your hand sanitizer, that SOP has to be written in a way that people really understand it, as far as opening it, as far as how to pump in your hand and how much you should use. And like, there's a whole process to this.
Yeah, step by step.
That's just one thing. Right. There's a process for everything that's done. To me, it's crazy, but it's also information that needs to be available to everybody in the facility. So,
and we got a great team of leaders to implement. Because SOP is nothing without implementation.
But we are so fortunate to have your background.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, to have your background. You know, I mean, you did it for
a while.
Marines.
Yeah,
you're a Marine.
I am. We did it for a while. We did it for a while, and I think that it just speaks testament to, again, the reinsurance implementation. We have a team. We have a smorgasbord of teammates.
I'm not to cut you off, and my daughter always says, "Stop talking over people."
Yeah.
But listen, at 38 years old, I've been doing this a while. But I'm going to bring Tommy into this because we always forget the man behind the scenes as a Navy vet,
right?
Also corpsman. Yes, this is his actual ball of wax. Like this is the guy that really truly knows what this is about. And when you talk about what he has done in the military and keeping people healthy, you know how important that is, because as I was talking to Brian and yourself, a whole fleet can go down overnight with people on a just because. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think maybe this is kind of another benefit of us to talk today, is the fact that a lot of times in the military, especially, your days, your time is spent as if the coronavirus is there anyways.
Right.
Because the conversations that I've had with you guys and understanding, like, when you guys are out and you're on your hops and whatever else you guys call them, I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
our operations, our daily, our deployments, whatever.
You can't. You're out for days and days at a time.
Right.
If one person gets sick,
you're done.
It can go spread really fast.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's the big thing.
And so this is where Tommy comes on board too, is the fact that his job as a corpsman and what he does. I know you want to make a joke because he was in the Navy, and we already did this with Brian. You're whole thing. You know what I mean?
I'm eating the microphone.
But the fact of the matter is that person is also somebody that is a benefit in having this, because I know he's very reassuring in understanding that this is what he's done. And Tommy, how many years have you done this?
I did 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're not talking about somebody that just went in and did 3 years or 4 years and walked out.
Yeah, right.
This is what this guy has done.
He lived it, right? That was better half of your life, right? You did it for
Well, not the better half. Well, he's living the other half now.
Living that right now.
It was a numerical portion of your life.
There you go.
But I mean, we said it before, we have our meetings, and, I've been through the whole H1N1, swine flu, and it's all training. And, Matt knows about this, is the military has never stopped training. It's everyday training. So when things have to be pushed, these buttons are pushed and reality sets in, we're already ready to go. We already know what we need to do, the protocols that we have to take. So once this started moving around, and it's a bigger thing. I've never seen it in my life this, serious. I mean, we took swine flu very serious, but it's actually surpassed that, so this coronavirus is a serious thing. But I feel fortunate to be here to actually, shed some light with all the employees here, and people come up here and ask me questions because they know the.
Don't forget about the 12 people that are going to watch this.
So don't forget to subscribe. But seriously, it's I'm fortunate to be here and still provide that on the side, even though I'm doing video and podcasting here. But it's really cool to come in and provide that information for people. So
yeah. And once again, I got this, so you can edit you into this too. Boom.
Hey,
Perfect.
So once again, a great thing that as we talk about this, the podcast is always, what does cannabis do for you?
Right.
And that's what's really cool, is that everybody in these rooms came from a different place.
Right. Yeah.
And I said it before, my kids will probably they are the first generation that will grow up in cannabis, in the legal side of cannabis, and then it follows through generations. So, not that we are the ones that are, carving the way, but we're doing our part.
Right,
And so when you look at this, and this is what's great, is to have people sitting at this table and people in this company that came from, the military. Who would have ever thought? And Janet, who would ever thought that we'd be sitting in a legal market of cannabis with Hellman Valley,
right?
With the Navy, Army. We have everybody, and not to mention, literally everybody. College graduates.
Oh my God! Yeah,
which I don't understand that, but seriously, like there's it's no longer just a stoner mentality of what's happening. It's a business, but we're also now bringing people from other, businesses and professions that are now like enjoying the cannabis side.
Right.
And we're not talking about just getting high. We're talking about just enjoying an actual business. And for a lot of people to understand, this is a business. This isn't fake.
No.
And I could tell you with everything we'll go through on another podcast that this is the hardest thing that I've ever done in my life. But it is a business, and to have people to work together with people like yourselves and everybody else that's in here, and have the same drive in a lot of ways. It is. And when you really realize it, and not to say, Tommy, that you need to start texting me on the weekends, because you already do, but it is really cool when you do get something from somebody, and Janet, where Janet says, once again, hey, with what's going on in China, we need to look at this. Right. I never even thought about it.
Right.
And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And Janet's usually has like this, her mind is going like this. And then one thing, you ever see, when they do, sorry, but when they do,
Tobacco.
No, I know that's a whole flower thing. But you ever see where they're doing what do you call it when they're inspecting it? But they can do like rice, and they can take a grain of rice and it just puffs out.
Oh yeah.
Over
right.
millions of grains of rice, and they're sorting, and
the bad one gets
right, and you can see shown on the screen just like millions and millions of grains of rice, and all of a sudden one comes out. You know what I mean?
Right.
We get that from Janet a lot, where just one little comes out, but she doesn't give us what was actually in the front or back of what she was thinking, and so this is
it's
one
like,
of those.
it's like you better be on board with what she's already thinking.
Oh yeah,
You better know.
Yeah, so
You better know where that thought was going.
So we always get that. She'll say something, and we always get that. And we always go back to tobacco, and that's
That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story.
yeah.
But in all seriousness, it's one of those things that
No, we figured it out early. We figured it out early. I had a lot. I must say, I had a lot of pushback on that one. But
I'll be honest with you, I was part of that pushback.
Yeah.
But
we conquered.
Well, we can't just say we conquered. How many minutes are we in?
We're at 60 minutes.
Oh, we got plenty of time.
Okay.
Oh, perfect.
Cameras haven't heated up yet, so we're good. Tommy's erasing.
He's erasing.
And Tommy's erasing, and he's putting
back
up.
in. What are we doing?
Tommy. This is Tommy, and he is now saying time in is 60 minutes.
We're 60 in.
Usually we get a time left, but we're not going to get that one right now.
Well,
So what happened was is early on, Janet had came and said, China. And, and this is almost like one of those games where you go, they go China, and you go, food. No. China. And you go, cheese. It's like, no.
New Year's.
Chopsticks.
See, it was chopsticks. No. And so we have to decipher through the millions of things processing. Let me put it this way. Mac doesn't even have a processor anywhere close to what she's processing. Okay? Or whatever's out there. So, no, she says, listen, guys, we need to really be on the front and understanding what's happening here. And I think you guys aren't paying attention.
Yeah,
and that's what gets our attention is when
Right.
somebody says we're not paying attention.
Absolutely.
And I said, okay, what is it we're talking about? And she said, where are we at with our cartridges? China's shut down. Like, it's happening.
Yeah.
And they're not shipping anything into the U.S. Where are we at? I'm like, okay, well, we should be fine. Well, no, we're not fine because I've already talked to them. Okay. Now you got my attention. They only have X amount of cartridges. And with the numbers that we do through the states that we're in,
Right.
we're going to be done. We're going to be out. And guess what? So is everybody else. So that got our attention. And that's where we got on with our supplier and we negotiated a large, extremely large volume purchase of upfront,
Right.
Which was really cool because when we first started talking to them, oh, no, you'll be fine. Everything's fine. Well, then we noticed that there was a huge decrease in the inventory. And it's like, okay. And Janet's like, we're not going to be fine, guys.
Right.
Like, we need to get on this. And then when I understand the importance, it takes a little bit, but that's when I immediately get on the phone. I need to talk to the president, not of the United States, although I would love to talk to the president of the United States, but the president of the company, to really understand the severity of what this is. Are they taking it as serious as Janet and we now are?
Right.
And with that being said, we made a huge deal to lock down.
And we were the first. We were the first to
And we
bring
were the
it
first.
to bring it to their attention and to really, because they said, you're going down a rabbit hole. I said, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Right.
You know, that was our supplier.
Yeah.
And going down a rabbit hole. No. But this thing I wear inside is both a
That's
curse.
called a hard drive.
Yes, it's both a curse.
That's the cloud.
And an asset.
Cloud.
Pro.
That I can honestly tell you is what has secured us through this process.
Absolutely.
Of while
Yeah.
China is down.
Absolutely.
And that deal that we made with them, they even came back and said, wow.
Right.
Like, we weren't even thinking
Right.
about that. Honestly, we weren't even considering it. And you guys have now locked down the largest volume of cartridges in the United States.
Yeah. And we've used them.
Not all of them.
Well, no, not all of them.
Right.
Very
But-
close.
But we're there.
Yeah.
And
in a
that's
short period of time, too.
Right.
In a short period of time.
Yeah.
Right.
And so understanding being we've gotten phone calls, China's back up and running. It's going to be a period of time before that manufacturing catches up and the orders catch up. But I think, once again, a thank you to Janet for another one of those things that comes into play that we're just not thinking about. You know what
That's
I mean?
just one of how many, George? Every day long.
No, it
She
is.
knows how to call us, right? She
That's
knows
exactly
how to call it.
That is the truth. And once again, I mean, that's how this team works to
Right.
save our asses.
Yeah.
I mean, and we're doing it in Michigan. There's a lot of things that take place, and just the fact that people are involved and not careless is how we're getting through this. But the better part of this is that it's normal for us.
It totally is.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you talk about the open door, but like how awesome is it for Janet just to be able to feel comfortable going, hey guys, have you thought about this?
Right.
And not have to worry about, anything. She knows that we're going to handle it the way we handle it, right?
Yep.
A little bit of fun,
Yep.
but we're going to sit down at the table and we're going to knock it out. And you're right. That's why we are where we are. And that's why there's a calm on the manufacturing floor with inventory stocked. And we're doing what we're doing because this lady at the end of the table.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
That's what
now
that's
my
where the
head
sad music comes in.
Yeah.
You totally missed that
The
one, Tommy.
head, the
What are you
head,
doing over
the
there?
head won't fit through the door.
He's
This guy.
we have a costume for that.
But the reassurance is daily, right, George? You hit on
Yeah.
it. The reassurance is daily. It's a reassurance to the team and the family that we have Janet and the team to stay ahead of everything, right? Make sure that we're doing the planning that we're supposed to be doing and we're adulting the way we're supposed to be adulting. We got
Sucks, but we do.
It does, right? But we do adult, and that we're able to reassure them that, hey, we're taking everything seriously. We're going to have some fun, but seriously, we're here every single day, and our commitment to you is to make sure that you can come to work and feel safe and be comfortable, and that you have a job, right? And we're going to continue doing exactly what we did yesterday. We're going to do today, and we're going to get ready to do it again tomorrow.
We've done our part. We've made light of everything, understanding how serious this is, and I think just in closing, really, just really take care of everybody. Your families, have that respect, and the caring side, to just really be safe for everybody, and also have fun.
Yeah.
However you have to do it. Right. I mean, everybody has their own way. You know what I mean? Right. If Monopoly for the next, 20 days in your house is fun, then play a lot of Monopoly.
Come together, right? You can't go out. You might as well come together, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's not about being careless. You know, I mean, when I talk about flying and whatnot, that's my personal view. It's not being careless. It's not me going out like, oh, look at me. I'm doing this to go against what everybody's saying. That's not what it is. I just have a different view on these things, and I think the planes probably are really clean. I saw them with the sprayers and shit like that.
I think they're super clean.
But I still, even in that fact, I'm still taking the precautions as I am traveling and whatnot, as anybody should. But the mindset is there. Don't get me wrong. I'm thinking about this all the time as well. I have kids and grandkids and a lot of things going on just like anybody else, but we're all going to do things a little bit different. And Janet, she's going to continue to drink hand sanitizer.
No, in my house it's double solitaire.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about, we should probably order a puzzle.
Hey,
I haven't done a jigsaw puzzle
that's-
since
you know,
I was a kid.
I was talking to my mom the other day, right?
Yeah.
What do you got?
I'm not doing a puzzle.
You're not doing a jigsaw puzzle.
I was talking to my mom the
Tommy
other day,
looked
right?
puzzled.
Yeah.
And I made a joke about the highways being clear and being the best day ever, right? But there's some truth to that. It's crazy times. We can't go to the restaurants. We can't go to the bars. We can't get out. We can't do this. We can't do that.
You can only
but
watch so much
you know
TV.
what I hope? I really truly hope that through all this, the be a good person kind of comes out and humanity comes out and we turn inward and we can get closer to each other. Listen, you can't go to work, right? You might as well sit down and do something with the kids. Have some fun.
And this is where I was going, and somehow I got cut off. And you're going to cut me off again.
If you can't go out, you get a lot of podcasting to watch.
Well,
there you go. Yeah, that's true too.
That's a good.
Go on. PVTV and
PVTV.
subscribe. And what are we on, Tommy?
right.
We're on Apple. We're on Spotify, Stitcher.
We're not on any puzzles yet.
Yeah, we got YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Castro, Castbox, Podchaser, and Buzzsprout.
There you go.
Oh, and just added iHeartRadio, which is the #1 podcast.
Damn,
That's pretty awesome. That's a
right.
big one.
Wow.
So just
That
think about
is
it
a
this
big
way:
one.
if you really want to
big one.
support,
Right?
go to every one of those. You have time
Every
now.
one of them. You do. You have
Log
nothing
in,
but time.
subscribe, comment.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? We want more comments on this, right?
Yeah.
We want to hear about this.
Oh, yeah, and let us know what you guys want to hear about.
Yeah, yeah.
So
questions you
back
have.
to my point before you cut me off again, because it goes. I don't have that sorter like Janet. Like my shit doesn't sort. Mine literally goes and it gets lost. and I can't. And this is the good rice. So what my shit puffs out all the rice. What I was getting at, and this is probably about 47 minutes ago, was the fact that everybody now is going to be spending a lot of time at home. And this isn't a joke, because you know, I know what it's like as far as kids and having kids, and we love them to death. Don't get me wrong, but we have to keep our sanity. So with that being said, lend a hand.
Right.
You know what I mean? Don't just think that how great it is that your kids are home from school, or, you know, your friends or your family. You know, it's okay for you, if you don't have kids, to step out and help. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
Take the kids for a few hours. And I'm being all serious about this because
Absolutely.
I have grandkids, and I know how Nikki is, loves the kids. Everything is great. But you can also see, like, sometimes it's good just to, you know, to pull aside and
it's a reset.
And even if you just go over there, which I do all the time anyways, and just spend time, you know, it's helping.
It is, yeah.
It's
And
a break
also,
in the action. Just
yeah,
a break
it
in
is.
the
It
action.
is.
It
It is.
totally
And you know what? And sometimes it allows people to go use cannabis.
That's
You know what I
true.
mean?
We have a lot of time.
And that's the reason that they have, as Janet has sent me, and as well San Francisco, they are allowing stores to stay open, dispensaries to stay open, because they have figured out that this is medicinal.
Right.
And so understand that people are going to be spending a lot of time indoors. Some are going to be spending a lot of time outdoors. I bet you Joshua Tree right now is probably overfilling. Like, I would love to have a pre-roll stand at the gate of Joshua Tree.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
like,
right.
You know what I mean? Because I think a lot of people are reaching out that direction too. So with that being said as well, go spend some time outside with your
Absolutely.
family.
Listen.
You know, take off and go to the desert and go do those things because you can. And that's quality time that you can get to the mountains and you can go to the deserts and, you know, and
it's an opportunity.
Take your German-X with you.
Take
if
it with
have
you,
to,
right?
You know what I mean?
We talk about the
Pack
rat
your
race
lunch.
all the time.
Yeah, pack your lunch and dinners or whatever it is.
Right.
But I think that's another big advocate on the cannabis side, is the fact that people are going to be doing a lot of things right now that are uncertain. You know, we don't know. I just had a friend of mine that drives a school bus for Grossmont school district here that just got notice that it looks like they're not going to go back to school.
Yeah, I
I'm
heard
not
that.
trying to start a news flash here,
No,
but
I heard.
Yeah.
but this is
Rumors.
from him.
Yeah. Right.
And, you know, and I know he's got a couple of kids and he's doing that whole thing, but and also understanding that they're not getting full pay for this time. So he's, you know, reaching out to just let me know, like, and other people know, like, hey, I'm available, you know, for any type of employment, because, you know, he's going to be sitting. So there's a lot of things that are going on. There's a lot of uncertainty right now where we're at. And I think we're in the eye of the storm right now. And, you know, it's going to get better. That's the big thing is understand, like, this is going to get better.
It is going to get better.
And, but while you're doing this, like, make the best of what you can.
Right. Absolutely.
Maybe take a road trip, you know, go do something, you know, that you've never done. Turn this into a positive.
It is.
Doesn't mean that you have to get on an airplane.
Right.
You know, flights are really cheap.
They are.
But
Hawaii's really nice.
you know, yeah.
You know. But you're right, though. It's an opportunity, right? I mean, you talked about at the very beginning. It's a lot of times to look down, right? The gray, rainy cloud is over us, but it's also an opportunity. And I said it earlier, right? We got the rat race that we talk about all the time. How many people say, oh, I wish I had some time off so I could just do something ... Well, you've been now told that you have time off, right? So take advantage of that time.
I'm making it mandatory.
There you go. Mandatory. Make it.
go.
I'm making it mandatory.
If you view this,
I'm calling
it's
right now.
mandatory for you.
Yes.
Right? If you subscribe and leave a comment, it's mandatory.
It is mandatory.
For you too.
Yes. And this is what it is that you need a shelter in place. But listen, guys.
That's not what we want, Janet. We got to meet. Back to the crisis room.
Hear me out. I did my, you know what I mean? So what I'm getting at is shelter in place. Nobody said what place you have to shelter. Right?
Oh, I read a great thing today.
Well, wait. Hold on here. You see what I mean?
Don't let that thought go.
We just had a
grain of rice.
that grain of rice. Boom.
Bowling.
Hold on
You
here,
go
grain.
first. Okay.
So what I'm getting at is shelter in place. What does that mean?
Right.
You know, I mean, people look at it and it's in a city. So you're in San Francisco. You're up in the Bay Area. Shelter in place. Well, they're not telling you go into your house, lock your doors, and this is where you have to stay.
Kinda.
I mean, they
Well,
did.
listen. But they're not telling you. They're not telling you that you have to stay in your house.
Right.
If you're
Right.
in the city, you need to spend the time in your house.
Right.
So why not get the fuck out of there?
No, you're
Why not
you're
go?
right.
Why not go? Why
Walk
not go
on
to
the
the
beach.
mountains?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like go do these things
Yeah.
that you haven't been able to do when you're sitting at work and you're looking on your computer or out the window or whatever it is.
Or
and
you're at
going,
home and
"Man,
you're
I'd
face
rather-"
down in work.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you see something. It's like, I'm not joking. Joshua Tree is beautiful, and why not go experience those things? Why not go do these things that
I'm
you
with
know?
you. That I was driving to work thinking about that this morning. Right. Go home and sit down and grab a coloring book with your kids and
Yeah.
color. Right. Grab your spouse, your significant other, and go hit the road. Do it by yourself, George. You're spot on.
So I know
Stop
you still
by-
have.
stop
I know.
by-
I know.
It's
I know
my
you still
thought.
have your
Yes,
grain
I
of
do.
rice.
Stop
I
by a
know.
dispensary.
Okay.
Stop by a dispensary.
So
wherever
I
you're
just
going
want
between here and there.
to. If this stays in, it's great. I just want to try something, Tommy, because my mom, which is actually my stepmom, they call her that. She flies for United as a flight attendant, and she just got back into town. I want to try to do something. I want to get her on the phone, and I'll just put it on speaker, and just I want to ask her a question. Is that fair?
Yeah, let's do it.
Can we do that?
I mean, I'm game.
Okay.
Well, you want me to call her? I mean, you could Bluetooth it here.
Well, let's try this.
Okay. Because we could hear her on the mics.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. So listen, you're actually on our podcast right now. So we're
Is that okay?
yeah. So we're filming. So
It's live.
There's some
the,
things-
the nation's
Yeah.
actually listening in right now.
So we're actually on a podcast, and I was talking, and the big thing for us is explaining, what's going on and where we're at and being comfortable. And I thought I would just bring you on to just for a quick second and ask just a couple of quick questions.
Yes.
Okay. So this is Gabriella. This is my mom, and so we are on the podcast here, and being a flight attendant for United, is it still United?
Yes.
You are flying all over the world, correct?
Exactly.
So I think you just got back into town last night. Where from Hungary?
Yes, I just came back from Budapest.
Okay, but you've been all over. I know last year.
I've been all over since January. I started in Hong Kong. That was before they shut the flights down. Singapore, Tel Aviv, Israel, Frankfurt, Tokyo. Yeah, all over.
Okay, so this is great because you have done that. You get to see a lot of the different things that are going on with this around the world, and I know because you were after leaving Singapore, you had to hunker down for 14 days before you could go back to Israel because that's their mandatory time for quarantine. Correct?
That's correct.
So, with that being said, an airline being the big hype on this and not flying and not traveling, how many cases do you know of in your branch or in the airline industry, whether it's pilots, flight attendants, the ticket people? How many cases do you know of that have tested positive?
I don't know any. In fact, but I don't know anybody who would know anybody either.
So this is
We're talking about 25,000 flight attendants, and I don't know not one who would have tested positive for this.
But she's still coming to work, right? United's saying, "Hey, we're still flying."
yeah.
yeah.
But understand that's 25,000 flight attendants in United.
Right.
Right.
That's not Delta. That's not all.
right.
That's just
Right.
that's just United.
Exactly.
So
That's pretty awesome.
yeah. And Gab, would you think that if this were the case and there were any cases that had tested positive, that they would notify you or obviously in some way or another? Obviously, people would know, like, oh shit, it's hitting in the airline industry.
Yeah, I'm sure they would, because they always send out letters, that, hey, on this and that flight, there was somebody who got positive and they tested. So I'm sure we would know about it, yes.
Yeah. Still going strong.
But so far, no. It's just, no, it's nobody. I mean, people flying, and people are flying that they're over 70 years old, and they're not scared either.
Right.
And we working with, I mean, we don't have full flights, unfortunately, anymore. But, before we had people on board, and I mean, nobody got sick.
So, is really quick to kind of get to the end of this. Can you tell us what precautions the airlines that as far as your daily travel are taking with the plane? Are they fumigating? Are they cleaning? Is there above and beyond?
But they cleaning the planes, but they suggest, what you hear everywhere, to wash your hands all the time. That's basically it. Otherwise, what else you gonna do? Coming back to the country, I came back yesterday, so there are CDC people meeting the plane. They only let 10 people off the flight at a time, but they didn't even take our temperatures. They just asked a few questions, because yesterday I came back as a non-working. I was home in Budapest for a while, so I wasn't working the flight. So they just asked a few questions from us, and they just said that, stay home for 14 days. But other than washing your hands, I don't think the mask helps. I see a few people, not everybody, but that's about it. But you know me, I'm really not scared of these things anyway. So. Well,
I mean, once again, though, you're talking about traveling,
right.
hundreds of thousands of miles,
right?
And
country hopping,
yeah, and one of the biggest scares right now is climbing in the tube,
right.
and that's why I think it's important to
get out.
Yeah,
that's your point.
Get out. So
get out.
Anyways, listen, thank you, love you. I'll see you tonight.
Love you. See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it's super cool though.
So,
super cool to hear that. You know?
And this isn't just a hoax. Like that's somebody that is not just domestic. This is world travel.
Super international.
So once again, I mean, I think we're done. I honestly think we've milked this one. There's a lot more that I'm sure is going to be said as we go along. We do have some pretty exciting stuff that's coming up. That's probably going to be maybe a little controversial.
Good.
We'll see. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to have mixed feelings on a lot of things, but we're going to be the ones to bring it out. That's for sure. So, hey, all I can say is super happy to have a team that we have and be in the position that we are in every direction. We are going to do another podcast that is, a little more formal on the PV side.
Sure.
Of getting everybody involved and understanding, who we are as a team, which will be exciting. But outside of that, once again, I mean, everybody just take care of each other. That's kind of what it is.
Be a good human.
Yeah, and play heads up.
Yeah.
Play heads up.
Right? Shoots and ladders.
Be smart.
Nothing wrong with that.
Shoots and ladders.
Yeah.
No. Oh, another good one is the Ellen app. If you've ever, you got to get the Ellen app. Seriously, we play it. My fiance and I, we play this game on the flight all the time. It's called Heads Up.
Oh yeah,
Is it?
I swear it's called Heads Up.
I see Heads Up.
And you take.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
It is. It's actually super fun.
It is.
We've actually
have fun.
We've actually had the flight attendants come and tell us to be quiet.
Oh my god!
Because we're playing this game. So I'm going to go ahead and promote Ellen on this one.
There you go.
Because that game is fun. It's fun for everybody.
blast.
There's a lot of different things in there. But otherwise, hey, thank you everybody, and we did our podcast.
We did.
Even though Tommy
some?
started saying that we weren't. But hey, let's finish this off with a little
squirt.
I mean, Janet's always the one to take full advantage.
Oh my God!
She's got the last one in America.
I think she did.
She got a gallon.
She did lock the door when she walks away.
Just to summarize this, we'll break that 6 foot gap by doing a high five.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. Hand sanitizer.
All right, guys. Thanks, and be safe. And
thank you.
We will be on the next one.
Have fun.
PV is out.